1. It's Top Gear starts now.
Hello, my name is Jeremy Clarkson and I am the host of Top Gear. Today, the guest here at Top Gear for episode 3. This guy lives in Los Santos. He owns a soccer club called Tomato Bees, and he is a close friend, who sadly lost his life in prison 2 months ago, and that is Franklin Clinton's friend, and he is Micheal DeSanta. Micheal DeSanta, welcome here today on Top Gear for episode 3 here today. And let's talk about your life, of course. You are a multi-millionaire, an entrepreneur, a guy who loves cars, like I love my cars as well. And let's start with your story when you first loved cars, of course. How old was you when you got into cars? And also, how do you love it the most as a passion? That's what I was about to say. I think it's just when I was a very young age, when I was, probably at 15, 14, I loved cars. I was interested in cars. I watched the Formula 1 in my childhood, and liked watching chauffeuring of cars as well. And yeah, I just love cars. I've got I own 7 cars, I do, and to this day. But, I just got into it from a young age at 14, 15, I got into that. And even one time, I didn't even turn up to school. I bunked off school, actually, one of the days, because there was actually a festival happening, half an hour away from my house on the day. It was actually during the day, actually. It wasn't during the evening, etc. I actually bunked off school, went to this big festival convention I went to look at the cars when I was 15, 14. And I'm a big obsessed of cars, and to this day, I like the vehicles, and I own 7 of the vehicles I own in my garage. So that's how my story and my love life got into cars and vehicles that I own, and also what I like to watch on TV. Tell me, Micheal, your favourite car of all your 56 years being alive in this planet. Well, my favourite car, would say, Jeremy, I would say my favourite car that I was actually a young man. I was at the age of, I think, 26 I was at the time. My favourite car was in the 1993 or 2 car, called the BMW 850i. And that was my favourite vehicle that I actually own, and also that I liked, actually, personally. And that's why I brought it at that time. So you brought a $8,275 car, the BMW at the time, and what that make you appeal to you, that's the car that you love and love to this day? The colour, the detail of the car was also my favourite in the time, in the 90s or the early 90s. I think the whole make of it, the design of the car, I think, the front was absolutely nice. I like the 90s cars. The 90s cars look very, very old school, very classic-y cars. And I know that I was around a lot longer than in the 90s, but those cars that came out in the 90s, and also the 80s as well, were the ones that I actually liked the most, of course. And I know there's not many cars about in this day and age in 2021, but back in the 90s and also the 80s, I think that BMW and the BMW 850 that I got in 1993 was my favourite vehicle that I got. And I haven't got it with me now. I've obviously sold it away, of course, as it was too old by the time at this year we're in, or obviously another 27 years on. But that's my favourite vehicle, and my favourite vehicle also I owned. What was your beloved friend Franklin's car? We all know that he passed away, sadly, tragically, in his prison in January. But what was his favourite car when he was actually, lived, of course? Well, his favourite car was the black Ode Tailgater 5MDS000, and that was his car. And he actually liked that car. That was the car that he actually first owned when he passed his driving test at the age of 21 at the time, because he worked with a rich Armenian car owner called Simeon Yetarian, and that was his first boss who actually gave him his first car. And then he met me. Basically, what happened was a big story, actually. The owner, Simeon Yetarian, told Franklin to steal one of my cars. That was a few years back. I was in the car, I was in the boot, and he came in, stole my car. Well, I didn't really steal my car, but it was hired to do that. Due to some insurances or whatnot that I didn't pay out to his boss. So I met him, I threatened him, etc. But then we turned out to be friends at the end of it. And then I took the kid under my wing, did some business with him as well throughout the 7 years until, fortunately, it turned out obviously he died. Like 6-7 years later, of course, being in prison, doing some things that he shouldn't have been doing, and that's what it gone down to. But, it's one of those things you have to move on for, and I'm hoping that I can live on his legacy. Absolutely. But let's go earlier here today that Mr. DeSanta did drive around the track for 7 laps with this car, of course. So let's roll the tape from earlier here today with Michael DeSanta driving around 7 laps. Congratulations, Michael DeSanta, you have completed that 7-lap race. Let me tell you your top speed of today, your official speed here on the first episode of Top Gear. This could make you go in front of Lewis Hamilton's speed on the first episode or Steve the Builder's speed, depending on your speed on that driving around the whole track for 7 laps today. So, let me reveal to you your miles per hour time right now. So, Michael, you have drove 7 laps and your speed of the lap early on here today is 259.39 kilometers per hour, and that puts you second in the top speed out of the 2 guys who were previously on my show 2 episodes back. And there you go, in second place of the whole episode of Top Gear. Congratulations, Michael DeSanta, and thank you for being here today on Top Gear. Thank you very much there for allowing me to be here, Jeremy. Absolutely there, Michael DeSanta. And that's going to be that here today on Top Gear with myself, Jeremy Clarkson, and my guest here today, of course, Michael DeSanta. Goodbye for now. Cheerio!
The 1. It's Top Gear starts now.